Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Creating Cards with Debbie. I want to thank you for being here. And let me introduce myself. My name is Debbie Foster. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm located in Bismarck, Arkansas. And if you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube, be sure that you hit that like button and also the share button. And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and plus the little bell will notify you when I go live. So let's get on with our housekeeping notes, then we'll get started. Today is Thursday, December 18th. Yes. So we're a week out from Christmas already. Can you believe that? My gosh. Where does the time go? All right. So it just started raining here. I hear the rain hitting the roof. Okay. Paper pumpkin for the January kit. You have until January 10th to sign up for this one. It is called Special Delivery. And let me tell you a little bit about that. It says, send heartfelt Valentines featuring sweet postage stamp designs and sentiments for love and friendship. Isn't that box pretty? I like the box. It says it makes 9 cards, 3 each of 3 designs, 3 different coordinating envelope designs, pre-cut paper pieces with gold foil accents, and the Stampin' Spot that comes with this one is going to be the Poppy Parade. And it says, kit arrives in a lovely coordinating box, which you can see there. So pretty. So you've got until January 10th to sign up for this one. And also, to go along with the next 3 months of Paper Pumpkin, we've got some add-on dies. And they are called Beautiful Blooms dies. And it's got the word beautiful, and then it's got a postage stamp die, and then some leaves and flowers there. So that's pretty. And you can get that one for $12. It is item number 168666. And that you are able to order that if you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber. So you can subscribe to this month's kit and add that onto your order. So something to think about. And these make great Christmas presents too. Okay, and then next we've got Product of the Month still going on until December 31st. You can get this Designer Series paper for just $5 if your order is $75 or more. And this is an add-on that you can add for $5. You get the Designer Series paper, 12 by 12. And it says works for card making and scrapbooking. So if you have any questions on how to do that, reach out to me. But once your order reaches $75, it should give you a pop-up on your screen to add that to it if you want to. And this runs until December 31st. And we should have a new one next month. And Stampin' Up! Is not doing the celebration anymore. So this is kind of taking the place of that. So we don't know what it's going to be each month. There's no sneak peeks or nothing. We just got to be surprised like everybody else. All right. So let me bring up some banners here. You can shop in my store at the website that's scrolling across the bottom. It says www.debbiefoster.stampinup.net. And let me show the Paper Pumpkin sign up. That's also in the description of my video if you miss it. So I don't want to clutter up too much here. So let's take them back off. And also you can get your starter kit for $99, and that's free shipping. And you'll add $125 worth of product on there and only pay $99. If you have sales tax in your state, you'll pay the sales tax, but there's no shipping charge. And I'd love to have you on my team. We have a community of stampers in our teams, so we get to have extra training if we want it. Lots of fun things, team meetings and such. So reach out to me if you have any questions. And let's get get rid of some of that off of there. And I'll go back to me. All right, so we're going to get started here. Let me bring up my desktop here. All right, there we go. And I'm still crooked here. I don't understand why. There, that's a little better. All right, we're going to be doing 3 cards today. And our first one is going to be Thinking of You. I've heat embossed with silver embossing powder for the words, the sentiments. And it says Thinking of You. Yeah, that's a better shot there. And then on the inside, I also heat embossed the silver for the sentiment. I appreciate you so very much at the bottom. Okay. Turn around here and we'll get started. Get my bits and pieces out here. My instructions. I've got some small pieces here I don't want to lose. So we're going to start out with our card base, which is our pretty peacock. And that measures 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, and then it's scored in the middle at 5 1/2 inches. We're going to burnish that fold line. And instead of going this way, we're going to have our card opening this way. So something a little bit different. And then our designer series paper comes from Everyday Happiness. And I love this paper. It's still available. And I don't know if I can show you the paper that good. I've used some of these, so I'm not sure if I got everything in here that comes with it. We're using this pattern. And also the checkered. So very pretty. I love this. Okay. But our designer series paper measures 4 1/8 inches by 5 3/8 inches. And then we've got our more pretty peacock. And this measures 2 1/2 inches by 5 3/8 inches. And that's going to go across the center of our designer series paper. And then we've got another piece of the designer series paper in that checkered. And this one is 2 1/4 inches by 5 3/8 inches. So it's going to go right up against the edges, but it's going to leave a space on top and bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and attach those all together here. Use my Tombow glue. Switch up a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Hope everybody's doing well. Is everybody ready for Christmas next week? I think I've got my shopping done, but I need to do my Christmas baking yet to get ready. So get started on that pretty soon here. And then I'm going to attach this one down on top of that larger designer series paper. Okay, be sure you say hello when you come on. All right, is that straight? I'm going to use my grid paper to see how off I am. Not too bad. I think that's pretty good. Now we're going to attach that to the front of our card. I got my front flap here. going to leave a small space going all around our card. Press that down. Okay, here we are so far. All right, and I am using the stamps that I'm using for my sentiment comes from the With You in Mind. I'm using the Thinking of You, and also the Impressions Abloom bundle. And these are on the last chance list. You can get the stamp set for $10, and you can get the dies for $17. So that's what, $27 for both of those as a bundle. Well, you want to buy them separately. So the item number for the dies is number 165610, and the stamp set is 165605. Or you can just put in a search for Impressions Abloom, and it should bring those up for you. All right, so I've die cut my flowers and everything ahead of time. So I've got 3 flowers that I die cut, and they're centers out of the gray granite. And I've done 5 leaves from the Pretty Peacock. There's 3, 4, 5. All right, so we're going to attach those to our card front. Let me go ahead and attach these centers of these flowers first. All right. And we'll start layering these where we want to put them. And I'm not putting these on dimensionals. I'm going to glue them directly down. I don't think I did. No, they're glued down. So they'll go through the mail a little easier. And which way do I want this? I think maybe this way. And another there. And the third one is going to go right about there. All right, and now we're going to add 5 leaves. We're going to just put a little glue at the bottom of the leaf. And, well, I think I put this one up here. And see if I can squeeze one in here. A little sideways there. And we'll put these other 2 at the bottom. All right, and then we're going to do some heat embossing with our heat gun and our silver embossing powder. So let me bring over my embossing toolkit. I'm going to use my embossing buddy first to get rid of any static cling that might be on there. Versamark pad. And we're going to stamp Thinking of You. So we'll ink up our sentiment. Make sure I get enough Versamark on there. And we're going to stamp that onto our pretty peacock. And close up our pad. And I've got my silver embossing powder and my toolkit. It's raining pretty good out there. Okay, good. Looks good to me. I'm going to just set this aside because we're going to be using it again. Hopefully I don't spill it. Bring my heat gun over here. It takes just a moment to heat it up. Let the magic begin. It hasn't reached the right temperature yet, so I'm going to let it heat a little bit longer. All right, now it's right. The magic is starting. All done. And now we're going to fussy cut this out. And let me get my paper smaller so I can work with it easier. Okay, so I'm just going to cut out the of you straight across that. Don't look like I cut very straight. Okay, of you. And then we'll fussy cut the thinking. I'm just going to go along the letters, leaving a small space. And it doesn't need to be perfect, so that is fine. And I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of that. So let me grab my small sheet here. I take your pick tool. And I want to put enough on there that's not going to sink in the middle. So, one more. flipping these all over the place here. Some powder in there. All right, and this is going to set over our flowers a little bit. And then our of view is going to just glue directly down. No dimensions on the back of that. All right. So there's the front side so far. Let's work on the inside layer. And I've got a basic white, which measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 inch. And then I've got a designer series paper that matches the front side of our card. And this measures 1/2 inch by 5 1/4 inches. And it's going to go across the bottom. But I'm going to go ahead and do our sentiments on there first. In case I mess up, I can turn the paper over. So we're going to bring stamps over here. Is that the one I used in there? Double check. Yes. I appreciate you so very much. It's going to be on the inside. And reverse a mark. So I'm going to stamp I appreciate you at the top left-hand corner. And so very much is going to go at the bottom right-hand corner. Let me put my paper back up here so I can see where to stamp it at. Okay. Put those aside. Close this up. So I don't want embossing powder in our Versamark pad. And let me have my jar again. A little bit more just to be sure that there's enough on there. And that looks good. And again, I'll clean that later. Bring our heat gun back over here. Okay, I appreciate you so very much. And then we're going to add our strip of designer series paper to the bottom. I'm going to leave a small edge at the bottom, just peeking out a little bit. I'm going to turn that over to snip off that excess. I guess I had it a little bit longer. But you can always take off. It's harder to put back if it's too short. And then back and go on the inside of our card. Center that on the inside. Okay, now we need to add some bling to our project. And I'm just using the Rhinestone Basic Jewels. It's been a while since I've used these. Take your pick tool, pop those off. I'm going to grab a large one, that there, and then a medium size up here, and a small one. We can add that right about there. I like to do like a triangle design, and threes. Okay, so here's our first card, Thinking of You. And on the inside, I appreciate you so very much. Okay, card number 1. And I think we will do our sympathy card next. Make some room here. Getting a bit cluttered up here. And we're going to be using one of our new stamp sets. It's called Prayers and Promises. It's got a lot of good sentiments in here for sympathy cards. All right. Okay, so here's our card front. So sorry for your loss. And on the inside, as you grieve, may your memories comfort you, your faith strengthen you, and may hope heal your heart. And I'm also using the dies that come from the Peace on Earth. The dies are still available, and they're marked down to $21.60, but the stamp set is gone. But the dies are still available. Okay, get my layers out here. I'm going to be using Night of Navy as our card base. It measures 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, and then it's scored at 4 1/4 inches. So let's go ahead and burnish that fold line. And we're going to be going with this orientation this time. And then I've got a basic white that is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. That's going to be matted onto the card front. So I can go ahead and attach that as we go. It almost looks like nighttime outside. It's so dark out there. I'm probably getting a lot of shadows on my screen too, looks like it. All right, that card so far. And then I've got another piece of Night of Navy, which is 3 1/4 inches by 4 1/2 inches. And I have embossed that using our new Stone and Vine 3D embossing folder. And that's going to go onto the center. And I don't think there's an upside or downside, so I'm not pay too much attention there. We're going to add our adhesive. And when you've got an embossed layer, you want to make sure you get up to the edges pretty good so it doesn't lift on you. And then we're going to center that onto our white layer. Make sure those edges are stuck down good, which it is. And I need to grab my dies. Okay, I've die cut our vellum with the larger frame and a basic weight with the smaller frame. I've done that ahead of time. So we're going to attach the white frame onto our vellum label. And it leaves you a nice edge going around it. All right. And now I'm going to grab where did I put my, there it is, my blending brush and some balmy blue ink. And I have a scrap paper. Keep my desk surface clean as long as I can. Okay, tap that off. And I'm just going to add that to our white layer. Just to tone down the white a little bit. Guess I probably should have done this before I attached it to our vellum, but that's okay. Okay, I think that's enough. And to stamp our sentiment with, we're going to use Nido Navy. This is one of my old ink pads. And the sentiment, we have one for the outside, one for the inside. So sorry for your loss. I'm going to stamp that to make sure. My ink pad's kind of dry and I can't find my refill to ink it back up again. So I may have to order a new one. And we're going to stamp that towards the bottom in the center. Okay. And we'll close this up for a bit, and then we'll come back to the inside later. We can attach that to our card. And I'm just going to put glue in the part that doesn't show the vellum, because the glue will show through the vellum, so you want to kind of hide it a little bit. And this is going to go in the center. You could put this up on dimensionals if you wanted to, but I kept it flat so it's easier to mail. And then I die cut a dove using the dies out of there. It comes with two doves. It's got one in flight and then the other one, it's got the wings closed up. We use this one, but you could use this one too. And then a little vine we cut out from our Night of Navy, which is there. And that's all I used on that. And oh, should put that back in there. Don't want to lose my dies. I'm going to bring that scrap paper back over here so I can add a little color to the wings of our dove using the balmy blue. I think there's enough on my sponge already, my brush, to just rub a little bit onto the wings of our dove. She's going to sit up there. And position her in the center. Hold that down for a moment. And then she's going to be holding that fig leaf. This is a fig. I'll press that down into that glue a little bit. Oops. All right, and then I've taken our white twine and I colored it with our dark Night of Navy Stampin' Blend, and it's already dried, so we don't have to worry about that. And I'm going to make a double bow out of that using my bow jig. So I'll wrap it around twice and bring this back and tie that. And this is going to go on the bottom of our label with the mini glue dots. And I'm using my paper pumpkin ones. They're a little bit smaller than what our other ones are. And attach that. Straighten out my bow a little bit. And get our ribbon scissors and we'll trim off those tails. I think it was about 11 inches of the twine that I used, baker's twine. If you need a measurement, how long. Just long enough to make a double bow. Okay, and let's add some bling to this. We're going to be using the hues of blue flowers. And I'm going to grab this blue, and I think I'm going to stick with the medium-sized ones. They could be the smaller size. And one more. And we're going to grab our Wink of Stella Put a little bling on the wings of our dove. And let's do some more sparkle here. Let's splatter some Wink of Stella over our cards. All right, so there's the front of our card. So sorry for your loss. Now let's work on the inside. And that is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, a basic white. And I'm going to bring my blending brush back over here. And we're going to add some color to the center of this, the balmy blue. And again, I'm going to tap, tap, tap. We're just going to do the center. So we'll stamp the sentiment over the top of that. Yeah. Okay, I think that's good. And bring our Native Navy stamp pad back here to stamp our inside sentiment. Stamp it off to make sure. I think I need a new stamp pad. Native Navy. Okay, and it's going to go right in the center of that layer. And hold that down for a moment. Okay, that looks good. Our scrap paper. We'll put that on the inside of our card. All right. So sorry for your loss. As you grieve, may your memories comfort you, your faith strengthen you, and may hope heal your heart. So that's card number 2. Clean up here a little bit. Okay. And then card number 3. All right. So this is going to be for a man. Happy birthday card. And it says, happy birthday. And we're using the designer series paper to be our focal point. And then celebrate today on the inside. So the paper that we're using is the Beautiful Gallery. And I know you probably have seen it. It's been out for a while. And it's got different scenes on each one that you could use. And where's my card base? Oh, right there. Our card base is our basic beige, and that is 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. Then it's scored at 4 1/4 inches. And we're going to burnish that whole line. And our card's going to open this way. And then I have another layer of basic beige. And that measures 5 3/8 inches by 4 1/8 inches. And we're going to stamp that using our linen, lasting linen stamp set. Let me get that out here. And I'm going to grab a big block here. This is block number F. Yeah, block number F. And pull it off. And I need to grab my basic beige. Yeah. Did I? I must. I think I got it all already. Where did I put it? Oh, it's in my basket. I wonder I couldn't find it. I was prepared and didn't realize it. Okay, basic beige. And I'm going to ink up my entire stamp. Okay, and I'm just going to grab my layer here and I'm going to place that down on top of our stamp. And grab a scrap paper here. And we're just going to press that all down. My Christmas cactus is starting to bloom. I started opening today, so I guess it's right on time. And you can barely see it. I don't know. There. And let me put that down. Close up our ink pad. And we're going to attach that to our card front. And center that onto our card front, just a small space going around it. Okay, like so. Can't really see it, kind of see it on camera. All right, and then next I'm going to be using our Everyday Arches dies. And I'm going to be using the two larger ones, Early Espresso, and our Designer Series paper is the next size down. So we're going to attach those together. Put these away. And I'm going to attach this to our Early Espresso. know we don't make a lot of manly cards, so this is a good one for that. And if you wanted to change the sentiment, instead of a happy birthday, you could do that. Could be for any occasion. Even for Father's Day, it would work. And then that's going to wait because we're going to put our early espresso. This is early espresso and old olive linen thread pack. And we're using the early espresso. And I'm just going to wrap that around the bottom here 3 times. So I'm going to bring my parent tape to hold it in place on the back side. Put a couple strips, one on each side, just to hold the linen thread in place. And I still haven't found my silicone mat. I'm just going to have to break down and add another one to my order, and then it'll show up when I do that. All right, so I'm going to attach this one first. My fingers aren't working today. And go around 3 times. Ribbon scissors, snip that off. And I'm going to scooch them down just a little bit. All right, and now we put that onto our card. Back over here, and we'll center that. Keep it straight. Okay. Now for our sentiment, we want happy birthday. And on the inside, we're going to say celebrate today. So I'm going to use our early espresso stamp. So happy birthday on the front side. At the top. And then on the inside, we're not putting another layer. We're just going to stamp it directly onto the card. And celebrate today. Okay. And I didn't make a bow. I did on my original, but I'm thinking with the man, it probably looks better, more manly without the bow. So whichever you prefer. And I didn't put any bling on here either, so it's just kind of a plain card for a man. It says happy birthday. Celebrate today. All right, we did good on time today. Not quite an hour. Okay, I know everybody's busy this week getting ready for Christmas, so I won't keep you any longer. We're going to bring out our cards that we did today. So a thinking of you card, a sympathy card, and a birthday card for a man. It's a pretty good variety. Okay. I appreciate you being here today and taking time out of your schedule to join me. And be sure that you like and share the video. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can like and share that video also. And also hit that subscribe button. And I don't think I will be here next week because that'll be Christmas Day. So I'm going to take off until next year. So I should be back January 1st. That's New Year's Day, but we don't do anything to celebrate or anything. So I'll be doing another one New Year's Day, start the year out right. So I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Enjoy your time with your family and friends. And until 2 weeks from today, we'll see you then. Bye bye.